What's going on, guys? It's your boy PokePond. Welcome back to another episode. Want to say a huge thank you to all of the new viewers and subscribers on the channel. Bearing in mind this channel only launched about 2 weeks ago, I'm absolutely blown away at the feedback that I've received. The amount of subscribers and views that are trickling in is truly astronomical. It really does mean the world to me. So big thank you to all the new subscribers on the channel. It really does mean a lot. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the Sword and Shield sets that I personally feel are an absolute steal at the moment, and now is the best time to be buying into these sets. Without further ado, let's hop onto the internet and let's look at some prices. Okay guys, let's get into it. So the first thing that I want to say is that I'm purely going to be looking at booster boxes. This is because as a sealed collector myself for so many years, booster boxes are the most liquid item and the safest bet currently to invest your money in sets mid to long term. Yes, you may be able to get flips or scalps on certain other products like collection boxes, etc., especially if they've got like specific promos in. Maybe you can pull the promos, upgrade them, that kind of thing. That's not what I focus on. That's not what my expertise lies in. My expertise is all about the mid to long term holds. I'm not a scalper or a flipper. I do a mixture of collecting for myself and holding things for the long term to make an actualized profit on items that I actually enjoy having in my collection, to then fund buying more product. I don't often take money out of the hobby. Like any money that I put in, and I inject more money in every month, leftover money from my salary. Don't spend house money. That's the number one rule that everyone says. It's definitely true, and depending on your financial situation at the time, everyone's financial situation is going to be different. You're going to be able to afford to put in a certain amount. It may be that you may be able to only afford to buy 1 or 2 booster boxes a year. I certainly started out that way. That's not a problem. I'm in a position, fortunately, now where I can do a little bit more than that, which is great. But if you can't afford to spend on booster boxes and stuff like that, just buy smaller products. You can go into ETBs, Elite Trainer boxes. I did in the past when I didn't have enough money. I personally don't like them as much now. I don't like them sat in my collection because they're taking up quite a lot of space. I have liquidated quite a few of mine to free up extra space, just because you can fit around about three and a half booster boxes for the space of an ETB in my collection. Plus, I don't like that they are a little bit less liquid than booster boxes. Booster boxes is like holding cash in the bank. Like at any point you can just sell it on eBay and it's going to sell pretty decently. You could put it 5% under what other people are selling it for and it will just sell instantly. That's what I like. I like things that are liquid in my collection. So without that little or after that little disclaimer, let's have a little look at some booster boxes. And I wanted to talk in this video today about some excellent opportunities and why I feel now is the best time to buy into some of these Sword and Shield sets, especially now that the IP has moved on. We're going into Scarlet and Violet. You're definitely seeing Pokemon trying to market their new products to the new user base, and some of these Sword and Shield products are on fire sale right now, and it's an excellent time to pick up some of these sets. I think some of these sets are fantastic. I think the Sword and Shield block is an absolutely fantastic block, and I think in years to come we will look back at some of these really iconic sets and just kick ourselves for not buying into more of these. Yes, there's a lot of hype at the moment around Pokemon 151, and obviously that's the newest released in the Scarlet and Violet block, and I think it's an excellent set. I've picked up some of that for myself, but at the same time that can also make buying opportunities because people are funneling their money into that rather than this. Me personally, I don't want to put too much money into Scarlet and Violet yet, just because it's such a new block at the moment. I think there's going to be lots of reprints coming out, and I think that some of the prices will come down a little bit as well. Generally, I don't like to go too hard into new sets and FOMO in them too much. I usually like to wait around 8 to 9 months, see how the set's done, see how the pull rates were, if people were complaining about the print qualities, just see how much hype was around the set, and that gives me a much better opinion on whether this set's going to do well in the mid to long term. So the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about today is Silver Tempest. I think Silver Tempest is a really great set. I think it gets overlooked on quite a bit recently, and I have mentioned this in a couple of my previous videos. FYI, do consider subscribing, because I do cover this kind of like price analysis on booster boxes and price tracking quite regularly, at least once a week, and I'm always like changing my opinions on like what's best to buy at the time when I see deals and stuff like that. And I think that if you're looking at building up an investment collection of Pokemon products, the best thing you can do is to educate yourself. And to educate yourself, you need to get knowledge from different areas, and I'm just one of those areas. I recommend that you listen to multiple people though, not just me, and form your own opinions. That's how I did it myself. Me personally, I've been investing into sealed product now for about 7-8 years. I've done very, very well in the market. I'm fortunate for that, and I'm trying to pass on some of that knowledge to you. Pokemon is a very cyclical market, which means that it goes in cycles, it goes up and down, and where I've been doing this for a few years now, I can start to identify these trends and see where that's happening. So hopefully we can identify some of these trends together. Maybe you'll learn something, maybe you'll invest, maybe you won't, but it's all about you. Like, you need to make your own decisions. What sets do you think are iconic? What do you think is going to do well? Don't just listen to me. You know, I'm just going to give you my opinions and tell you what I'm putting my money into. Okay, so yeah, Silver Tempest, as I was saying, absolutely brilliant set. Obviously, you've got the alternate art Lugia cards. Let's pull them up on screen. Alternate art Lugia card. Sorry, I'm messing up my words a little bit. Absolutely fantastic card. I think this is one of the top 5 to 10 cards in the Sword and Shield block. I think it's going to be very desirable in the future. I could see singles prices rising on the long term, but again, I'm not a singles flipper or holder or anything like that. My speciality is mainly in booster boxes, and the reason for that, I'll explain very briefly, is that the supply of singles can only go up as more of them get pulled and more sealed product gets cracked and opened, and the sealed product can only go down, and unless there's a reprint. That's the only thing that screws everything up. But unless there's a reprint, the amount of sealed product out there can only reduce, which will in turn supply and demand, you know, increase price over time if you wait long enough. And the singles and PSA slabs can only go up as more people pull them and more people grade them. As you know, sort of PSA population reports only go in one direction; they go up. Okay, so looking at Silver Tempest, this is obviously your chase card. The singles price is actually holding pretty strong. It's at a decent price, $170 for a Lugia V in Raw, which I think is actually a very quite significant price for this card, but it's an absolutely beautiful card, and I could only see this going up long term, which will in turn influence the booster box price as well. I think it's an absolutely fantastic card, one of my favorites for sure, and I think it's going to be looked back on and remembered as well. That's very important. When you're looking at investing for the long term, it's which of these sets have those iconic cards that you're going to remember. It's getting up there in age as well, so it released on November 11th 2022. We are nearly 12 months in, so we're reaching that time in the product life cycle where you know, it just got a reprint recently. I think it's important to look as well when you're talking about reprints at what Pokemon are looking at now, and Pokemon now that they've moved into their new block and their Scarlet and Violet, I think they're going to focus more on printing that rather than back printing a lot of these Sword and Shield sets. So I personally feel like now is the best time to start buying into these Sword and Shield sets, because not only are they cheap, I think that the chance that they will be printed into oblivion and overprinted is very small. You may see more reprints, you may see a drop down in price, but if you're picking things up now for this kind of price, I do feel that if you hold it for a year or two, you're going to see some really good gains. Me personally, I'm buying Silver Tempest and I'm holding it for the next 5 to 10 years. You know, this is sitting in my collection very long term, and I think it's going to do very, very well for me. So it's a great set for this price. I'm just going to keep picking it up. Average market price here, as you can see, 123. We've recently seen a drop down from 142. This is with reprints coming in fairly recently, and you're just seeing the market stabilize. You know, it's eating up that price, and I don't really see it dropping down any further than that, unless it's going to get reprinted again, which I think is quite unlikely. Even if it does, you know, we might drop down another level to somewhere around here. We might drop down to the 125 mark, but it's going to recover. I strongly feel that. And what you've got to remember as well is, say for example you buy a booster box here at this price, say you pay 126, or let's say for round numbers sake, let's say you pay $130 for one booster box now. Say it gets reprinted and it drops down to 120, then you buy one at 120. If you average out the cost of your two booster boxes, you've paid 125 for the two. That's still an excellent price, whether it gets reprinted or not. You can see that it recently climbed all the way up to 142. Considering this set's only been out for about a year, the fact that it climbed to 142 on its own is absolutely fantastic, and I could only see that happening again. You're getting it on discount now for 120. You're getting a $20 discount. I can easily see it bouncing back up to this level fairly quickly, and it will do so fairly easily because it's already reached that mark. The essentially the market has already decided that this is the fair price for it. It's only dropped because the supply went up with the reprints. Okay, so yeah, there's Salugia that we had a little look at. It's important as well, like, although I'm not a slab collector, or I don't hold them for the long term, I do still like to keep an eye on what's going on with the PSA 10s of the chase cards. It's just interesting to see when you're trying to value a set and predict how it's going to do long term. Right now, the PSA 10s over here in the UK are selling for about 230 to 250, 260 after postage, etc. That's really not too bad a price for a big chase card like that. Me personally, I wouldn't put my money into slabs, so mainly because they're not that liquid. I think if you're going to hold it for a good few years and you know you're not going to need that money, then great, go for it if that's something that you want to do. Me personally, that's not what I'm into. I don't display slabs or anything like that. I love sealed. I barely open up packs nowadays either. I'm much more about having these sealed sets in my collection. That's just what I enjoy. That's what I collect, and that's what I hold. Next set, Brilliant Stars. Who knew this was going to come up in my list? Brilliant Stars, I've said it again multiple times in my last couple of videos. Excellent set. Obviously, you have the Charizard Chase card. Absolutely beautiful card. Again, in my top 10. Most of my top 10 cards come from Evolving Skies, by the way, but out of other sets, this is definitely in the top 3 cards of all sets apart from Evolving Skies. Once you take the Moonbryons and whatnot out of it, absolutely fantastic card. Currently trading for about $145 on TCG Player. Singles price kind of a bit all over the place, but that's what happens with singles, you know. That's why I don't invest into singles personally, because I find them a lot less predictable than sealed product, and they're a lot less liquid as well. Brilliant Stars release date February 25th. 2022. We're getting up there in age now. We're a year and a half in with Brilliant Stars. Again, we had reprints recently. It was a fantastic set. That's when you're seeing this price drop down with the reprints. You're getting it on sale now, but it's still holding. The market has accepted that it is at least 150. That's why you're seeing the plateau here, and it's not continuing the drop, because what happens is with supply and demand, once the price drops to a level where the market agrees that it's a bargain, they all get bought up and then it plateaus. Now, I'm sorry, but it's only going to go in one direction from this. Unless it's going to get reprinted, it's just going to bounce straight back up to these. It might take a little while, it might take 6 months, it might take a year to bounce back up to here, but the market has already accepted back in August that a fair price for this product is $160. You're getting it on sale here. You're getting a $10 reduction. I think this is an absolute brilliant buy at the moment, and it's also something that I'm buying regularly. I'm scanning eBay. I'm making sure though when I'm on eBay I'm buying from reputable sellers. I'm not buying if it's just a stock image like this. I'm buying from people who are taking photos of every single angle of the booster box. I'm inspecting it for damage. I'm inspecting it for reseals. I know exactly what a booster box is meant to look like. I can quite easily tell whether it's going to be a fake or not. I pride myself in being quite good at that. I think if this is something that you're new to and you want to move into, this is one of the most important things you need to do, is to identify when a deal is too good to be true. Understand what prices should be for a product. If it's way too cheap, then maybe it's not a bargain. Maybe it's a scam or fake packs or resealed or something like that. And educate yourself. Go onto eBay, go onto sold listings, completed listings, have a look at the pictures of the completed ones. That costs you nothing, and you can educate yourself on what booster boxes are meant to look like. Once you have a few in your collection as well, what I always do is, especially when I was starting out new, once I had a booster box that I knew was genuine, that maybe I bought from an official retailer or something like that, when I would then order from another vendor like eBay, etc., Amazon, something like that, when I got my booster box, I would compare it to the one that I knew was legit, and you start to see these telltale signs of how the Pokemon company package these products, and they do it in very specific ways. There's lots of telltale signs that you can see and transfer over to your boxes, but we'll go into a full video on that another time. Let's focus back on the investment in the Sword and Shield block. Sorry, I got a little bit sidetracked there. So yeah, I mean, we're getting these on discount at the moment. You're getting about $15 discount on these. You might even be able to scoop up a little bit more of a bargain if you go onto eBay, perhaps play the auctions, etc. This is about a 10% discount. Take it. You know, if you're going to be buying booster boxes and reselling on eBay, you're talking about 13-14% fees. This covers your fees when you resell it. You're getting it at that discount price already. I think it's absolutely fantastic set, fantastic chase card, and here's what the PSA 10 is going for at the moment in the UK here. Look at this from auction as well. Ended just yesterday, 200 plus 8 postage. That's huge. In dollars, you're probably looking at about $220 after postage, something like that. $220, $230. Decent, really decent, and I think it's a beautiful card. Next set, which I haven't actually talked about in my other videos, but I think this is going to be a really strong set moving forward. I don't actually have any of this in my collection, but I've been keeping a close eye on it, and I have been recently eyeing up buying some of these and adding them to my sealed collection. The reason why I haven't so far is because I've been focused on these other sets, on the Silver Tempest and the Brilliant Stars primarily. I've also been buying a little bit of 151 and a little bit of V-Star Universe, But if you watch my other videos, you'll know that and you'll keep up to date. Today, though, we're talking about Sword and Shield. Lost Origin. I actually think this is a brilliant set, and although I don't like the card myself, I do have to admit it is one of the most iconic and recognisable cards from the Sword and Shield set after the Evolving Skies, Moonbreon, etc. Everyone knows this card. It's the Giratina V Alt Art, Full Art. It's an absolutely insane looking card. There was so much hype when it came out. It's still a hype card now. It also had playability in the TCG as well. Just look at the price on it as well, because it was quite a hard one to pull. $330 now still. How long has this set been out for? September 9th, 2022. So we are pretty much exactly 1 year on now from Lost Origin when it came out, and you can see on the price here, look, it was 147 at the end of the summer, at the end of July, for a booster box, and we're right back down to 135 now. You can see one selling here even for 120, 126. Absolute fire sale. You're getting back down to these prices on these Sword and Shield sets where they're just a little bit over what they were retailing for at MSRP, and we're talking what, a year and a half in some cases onwards, and you're still picking these up mint sealed for not much more than what they retailed for a year and a half ago. I think these are absolutely fantastic buys at the moment, and I'm definitely buying more of these Sword and Shield booster boxes now. I think it's an excellent time to buy, but do make up your own opinions on these. Please do not just listen to me. If you need the money as well, don't spend money that you can't afford. I can afford to buy these and sit on these for 5 years, 10 years. I probably won't even sit on all of these for 5-10 years. What I tend to do is I tend to buy a few of these booster boxes, and when the price doubles, maybe in 2 years time, 3 years time, I'll probably sell a few of them off and invest into something else. But I always keep 1 or 2 back, and I hold them for the long term, the 5 years to 10 years. That's where you're going to see the real gains on these products, and I think we're going to be shocked in 5 to 10 years just how much these booster boxes are going to go for. I think they're going to go for an absolute premium. Nothing compared to vintage, because back then with vintage, no one was putting them away. No one was storing these long term. It just wasn't a thing. There wasn't as much hype around it. There wasn't talk in YouTube channels like this about investment and how to store your products and how to flip products. It was just a completely different time in the market. People weren't thinking about that kind of thing. So I don't think these will ever reach vintage price, but this, in 10 years time, this Lost Origin booster box, I could see it being worth a huge amount of money. And me personally, I don't want to get to 10 years later and kick myself for not buying more of these for 135. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is we can't do a Sword and Shield video without talking about Evolving Skies. Now, I've talked about this a little bit in my previous videos, that me personally, I think if you're going to hold this product long term, I think that this is not a great product to buy. The reason why is because the price is already inflated. You're looking at 416 at the moment for a booster box of Evolving Skies, and I think that is a fair price for the product. However, if you're looking to turn a profit over the long term, unless you're going to hold this guaranteed for 5 to 10 years, I wouldn't invest into it, mainly because I feel like you can park your money in other product vehicles and make money far quicker than in Evolving Skies. And the reason for that is, for you to double your money on Evolving Skies, the price will have to go to 800, maybe 900 after fees for you to double your money. I do think that's going to take a bit of time, even for Evolving Skies. You're nearing then on 1,000 a booster box, and I don't like booster boxes when they get up to that kind of price range, because they become less liquid. Although there's a lot of demand for Evolving Skies and it's an excellent set, I don't care how popular the set is. Once you're starting to talk the $1,000, that kind of area for a booster box, they're less liquid because you have less buyers who can actually afford to buy into products like that. Your average perhaps teenage kid or something that's in the hobby, maybe just getting into it or been into it a few years, they're not going to be able to just put down $1,000 to buy this booster box. So it limits your potential sellers. So it makes it less liquid, less desirable, etc. I think it's a fantastic set. It's the best set easily in Sword and Shield. I bought loads of it. My price ceiling for it was $250. I bought loads of it below $250. As soon as it reached $250, that was my cut off. Not buying any more. If it ever goes below that again, which I don't think it will, unless it gets printed into oblivion, which I don't think it will, I'll buy more of it. But I think that day has passed for me now. I just wanted to show you it just because we have seen a little bit of a price reduction in it recently. So you can get it on a little bit of a sale at the moment, but I think you need to determine whether you are an investor or whether you want this for your collection. If you want this for your collection, it's on sale. I do think it will do well very long term. If you're there just to make the money though, and you're not worried about having one of these in your collection, then I think you should park it in some other products like the Brilliant Stars, the Silver Tempest and the Lost Origin. I think that they're fantastic sets. I think Fusion Strike needs a look in as well, but me personally, that's just not my cup of tea, that set. I don't know much about it. I took a little step back away from the hobby around Fusion Strike time, just because I was doing other things with my money, other investments. I was playing the stock market for a while. I was riding the Tesla tech train, for anyone who knows about that kind of thing. But yeah, so Fusion Strike possibly as well, but you'll need to do your own analysis into that product. But for me, it's definitely the Silver Tempest, the Brilliant Stars, and the Lost Origin are absolutely fantastic buys right now. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I know I waffled on for a little bit there, and I went on a bit of a sidetrack talking about spotting fakes on eBay. But I do all of these in one take, and I don't have planned out massively. I pull up tabs on what I roughly want to talk about, but yeah, there's no script or anything. I just go and I just talk for the 20 minutes or so, and I just let myself go. So I hope you guys enjoy this format of video. I've really been loving seeing your guys' comments and feedback underneath. It's great to see if you're enjoying this format of video, maybe what you'd like to see more. I love to hear what you're investing in as well, because at the end of the day, I'm making my own opinions on what other people are doing as well. I'd love to hear what your views are, what you think are good deals at the moment, what you think are great sets. Please do let me know. I love hearing back about that kind of stuff, and I'll try and take the time to reply to your comments as well. Maybe we could start a little bit of dialogue there. So yeah, big thank you to all the new viewers on the channel, everyone liking the videos. It's absolutely huge. The fact that we've only been going for 2 weeks and we're getting this kind of reach is absolutely insane. It's really pushing me and motivating me to make more of these videos. Huge thank you to all the new subscribers. Do consider subscribing if you want to keep up to date on what I'm investing in. I'll always keep you up to date on like what are good deals on products and stuff like that I'm noticing. I'll try and teach you guys knowledge about spotting fakes, all this kind of thing. I want my channel to just be a huge wealth of information, primarily. So yeah, big thank you to all the new subscribers. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and peace.